Hey y'all. This probably looks like a weird spot for me to be. I am in my car with the Coop dog. Cooper James. Cooper's a little bit nervous in the car. Hi, buddy. But today, this week, I wanted to show you guys the entirety of my community garden. So as you guys know, I have two gardens. I have my backyard garden as well as a community garden. I live in Austin, Texas, so space is prime real estate around here. And so having a community garden gives me a community of gardeners, obviously, but also it gives me more space. So I'm gonna take you guys around the whole entire community garden, not just my plot. And I brought the Coop dog because he was needing to get out of the house, huh, buddy? Okay, thanks for that. Okay, y'all, so we are actually going to start in the orchard. Ooh, gotta grab my dog. So we are actually gonna start in the orchard. This community garden is on the east side of Austin. We try and keep it as affordable as we can while covering all of our costs. We are a nonprofit and part of the Austin Parks Foundation, Austin Parks something. But let's walk around the orchard. So we try and leave as many native plants that pop up as we can. These trees back here got nailed pretty bad by our freeze, so we're probably gonna have to replant those. This is a peach tree that has to come out that got also nailed by our freeze. This is an alive peach tree that is very beautiful and gave us lots of peaches this year. We have some other trees back here. There is a grapefruit, there's some figs and olives, but really the freeze that we had last year, that crazy freak freeze, it really kind of nailed a lot of these plants. So we actually just got a grant to restore the orchard and buy new trees. I have offered to propagate some cuttings if we can grab them. So the orchard is going to have a big makeover this year, hopefully, because it needs it. A lot of these trees just didn't make it through that really crazy freak freeze that we had last year. So here's to hoping that that's gonna change. This is one of the sections of the garden. You can see some of these plots that are pretty overgrown are not occupied, but there are some plant restrictions, but other than that, you can really plant your plot however you want to here. And then this is a big composting area. So we have big piles of compost that you can sift through. There's one here, there's one there. You can bring your compost here, and we have a bin system set up with pallets, as well as a bunch of places to put leaves to break down and things like that. So you can take compost as well. And then this is a communal asparagus bed. So this is just asparagus and what it looks like when it gets big. Here's another peach tree, and this peach tree actually has two different sections. One is flowering and one is fruiting, which is pretty interesting. Then we have a tool shed with all of our tools, as well as a couple of other tool sheds that if you're a member, you get to use those. We are dog friendly as well. Oh, buddy. Cooper likes coming in the garden. And then this garden is also considered an accessible garden. So we keep the grounds accessible for people with wheelchairs, people that are older. We have a very large population of gardeners here who are older, and they get their plots either at a discounted rate or for free on scholarship. So that's pretty cool. And then we come up here to the, what's wrong? You got some stickers in your feet? Okay, let me see. Oh no. Oh, okay. Ow. Oh, fuck. Y'all, these things, the worst. And then this is our communal herb garden. So we just cut back a bunch of stuff from the summer. And so we have oregano, sage, and this is stuff that anybody can use. We've got ginger back there, we've got some alliums. This is usually all comes back to be mint, and we try and control it as much as we can. And then there's some borage that kind of has naturalized itself in here. And then this was a tea bed this last year, which was pretty cool. And then this is actually a roselle plant that I got from Whispering Willow seed swap. Looks like we tried to give him a little support, but I think he needs probably a little bit more support. So we've got some Thai red roselle. We've got a very uncomfortable looking Cooper. And this might look familiar to you because my plot is right over there. So this is just another section. We have 80 plots, north of 80 plots that we can fill at any given time. And then we have plots that are accessible for people in wheelchairs or people that have back problems. And then this section over here, this is all communal. So that building right there is a low-income housing building for elderly people. And they really work a lot of this area and they eat the food out of it. Anybody can eat the food out of it as long as you help tend to this area. But really this area is meant for people who need to eat the food. So some of these areas need to be cleaned out, but look at how beautiful some of these are. Look at how beautifully these are tended. This looks like maybe some Chinese cabbage. These look like some mustard greens maybe. This maybe looks like bok choy, that might be what that is, but just all sorts of greens and different things that get taken care of and planted by the team that takes care of this area. And that's another important thing to talk about really quick. We have different teams, so if you're a member, the reason that the membership is so low is because you are expected to help take care of the garden and the space. You are expected to help take care of the space and the garden on a team. So we have different types of teams. We have the herb team, we have the communal garden team, which is the team that takes care of this space. We have a team that takes care of all of our berry and grape bushes, which I'll show you in a minute. There's a team that takes care of the swale. We'll walk over there. This place is huge and it definitely doesn't run without the help of its members. So it's really, really neat. I think that thing that got caught in Cooper's foot, I think it might have just made him his foot a little bit sore. He's not walking real happy. But part of the reason we can actually use this land is because we have agreed to keep part of it as a natural habitat for wildlife. So that brings us over to the swale, which we try and keep as natural as possible. This down here is the swale. And originally, before some other buildings were built, this area trapped a ton of water that would come through and pool. And so that's why they made the swale in the first place, was to kind of catch all that water. Now, because of the parking lots and everything else that's been built over here, we don't need a place to catch all the water, so we've kind of let it naturalize and become a native habitat. But we actually installed a pond last year. So we have a pond for wildlife and it's completely managed by part of the swale team. And it was designed and set up in a way that was meant to be very low maintenance, as natural as possible. So that takes care of the pond, the swale, the herb garden, the orchard, the communal garden. Oh, grapes and berries. That's what's next. So the grapes and berries team, we grow in this area. They're called Mustang grapes. They're not super sweet. I don't think you would necessarily want to eat them. It's like a fresh grape, but they make really awesome jam. The woman that takes care of the grapes and berries mostly, she makes amazing Mustang grape jam. That's fantastic. What, do you have another one stuck in your foot? So, and you can see just more people's plots. This plot looks like it's overgrown, but these are actually all sweet potatoes. Like, I know these people and they're awesome gardeners. So again, here we have some amaranth, some peppers, and so we have like a whole thing of blackberry bushes right here. So these are all blackberry bushes, and this is the original entrance. We now have another door, but these are all blackberries, and then all along that front fence are all grapes. So this is another section that there's some open and available plots. There's a coop dog hanging out, ready for me to come. Is he not such a good garden dog? Are you the best garden dog? Yeah. So this bed is in serious dire need of repair. This one will be next on the list to get a new bed. But it's just really interesting to see how different people garden. So like this garden they are saving their eggplants, but they've got tons of other stuff planted. This gardener, she loves flowers. I have never met somebody who is better at growing flowers than this girl. She's amazing. And then people just decide to do all different kinds of things with their plots. And then I think you guys probably recognize this plot. This one's mine. And it certainly is not looking as glorious as it has in years past, but it looks pretty good. I've got to give myself a little credit here. It's not as good as it could or should be, but you know, it is what it is. So there's that. And I think we probably have some radishes to harvest. Yeah, definitely have radishes to harvest. So, that is the full tour of my community garden plot, or my community garden where I have my community garden plot. And I really encourage you, if you are in an urban setting, or even if you're in a suburban setting and you just don't have the space or you don't have the sunlight or whatever, tons of people here garden at our community garden for tons of different reasons. Find yourself a community garden. I have learned the amount that I have learned in the short time I've been a gardener, just like 3 years, because I'm part of a community garden and I've gotten that knowledge and all of that stuff. So yeah, thanks so much for coming to see my community garden with me today. If you're in the Austin area and you're interested in a plot, shoot me an email. My email is below in the description box, and I would love to talk to you about having a plot here, because this place is magical. It's one of my favorite places to be, and it's really what kind of like forayed me deeply into gardening. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching. Have a good week and happy gardening.